Now let's move to the last part of our lesson, special types of matrices. For our first special type, we have upper triangular matrix. Upper triangular matrix is a square matrix where Aij is equal to 0 whenever the row number I is greater than the column number j. That is, all the entries below the main diagonal of the matrix are 0. Let us consider these matrices. Then let us take their main diagonals. Note that the entries below the main diagonals are all 0. And by the definition of upper triangular matrix, A, B, and C are upper triangular matrices. Now observe that in the matrix C, there is a 0 above the main diagonal. There is a 0 on the 1, 3 entry of C. But that is completely fine since we do not have a restriction for the entries above the main diagonal. As long as all the entries below the main diagonal are 0, then this square matrix C is still an upper triangular. If there is an upper triangular matrix, we also have a lower triangular matrix. So it's very similar. Lower triangular matrix is a square matrix where the entry is 0 whenever the row number is less than the column number. That means the entries above the main diagonal are 0. So suppose we have these examples. And let us get their main diagonals and observe the entries above the main diagonal. They are all 0, and by definition, these matrices are all lower triangular matrices. Now move on to the third type, diagonal matrix. A diagonal matrix is a square matrix where the entries are all 0 whenever the row number is not equal to the column number. That means the entries outside the main diagonal of our square matrix are all 0. As an example, we have this one. Let us scratch out the main diagonal, and clearly we see that all the entries outside the main diagonal are 0. So these matrices A, B, and C are diagonal matrices. Observe also that a diagonal matrix is both an upper triangular matrix and also a lower triangular matrix. Now for our last special type, we have the identity matrix. The identity matrix is the n by n diagonal matrix I sub n. I sub n is the label of the matrix where aii is equal to 1. That means all the entries on the main diagonal are 1. So we have these examples. I1, this is the identity matrix of size 1. So we only have 1 as the entry. I sub 2 is the 2 by 2 identity matrix. So we have 2 by 2. All the entries outside the main diagonal are 0. And on the main diagonal, we only have 1. Likewise for I sub 3 and I sub 4. The entries outside are 0, and the entries on the main diagonal are all 1. And that's the end of our lesson.